Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to get started shortly on our summer camp virtual orientation for season 2024. We do hope you're excited about this upcoming summer. I know it doesn't feel like this, feel like it on this dreary, rainy day, but summer is right around the corner. Summer is right around the corner. So this meeting is for students who are going to be in our K-8 programming. That's summer camp. Summer preschool, that's just regular programming for children who are ages 2 and 3 and who are going to pre-K in the fall. That's just regular summer programming where they have a different activity and it's not summer camp. So I just want to make that differentiation just in case we have some families who are on who have younger ones or maybe 2, 3 are going to pre-K. This is not particularly your meeting. This meeting is for our older campers who are going to kindergarten and upwards to 8th grade. So I just want to make that clear before we dive in. So we're just going to give families a little bit more time to log in and we are going to get started. The meeting should run about 40, 45 minutes. There is going to be an opportunity for questions and answers. And if you have any questions, you can always put it in the chat. We're going to try as much as we can to make the meeting a little interactive so you can follow along with us, raise your hand if you want to, but we will have a dedicated question and answer period at the end of our meeting. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And we are going to get started. So just a few housekeeping rules. Please ensure your microphone remains muted until the question and answer session. If you have any questions, you can always put it in the chat in the interim. You can feel free to have your web camera on and off. It's up to you. If you have any questions, again, you can leave them in the chat simultaneously or wait till the very end. And thank you for joining us. Okay, so first thing first, again, we want to make it interactive. So what are some characteristics of your ideal summer camp? What are some characteristics? So believe it or not, I don't know if your kids know, but at one time you too were a little person. And maybe, just maybe you went to summer camp too. What are some characteristics of your ideal summer camp or things that come back when you think about when you were young and went to camp or how you enjoyed your summers? So we want you to drop that in the chat. So again, if you just joined us, we are jumping into our presentation, but we are asking for people to put in the chat, what are some characteristics of your ideal summer camp? So what I'm seeing so far, trips, academics, and sports. I see art projects, and that is so true. To this day, I still see an art project in my mom's bathroom that I made in ceramics when I was just a wee little girl in summer camp. Outdoor play, trips, going on more trips, lots of outdoor activities, a pool day, trips. It seems like you guys just want to go on trips. Mm-hmm. Outside play, outdoor activities, trips, art, outside play, museums. Wow, we have a lot of different characteristics here. So museum trips, sports, parks, great. And we're definitely gonna save this chat as well because we love to get feedback from the parents and just, what people are thinking now, what ideally makes summer camp. Parks, sporting activities. I see one parent who she's down here with the second baby. She's saying, I miss the sports and swimming programs that CECC had. Yes, swimming classes, instructional swimming were really, really good. But that's contractual stuff, why we don't do swimming anymore. But we're going to bring back some of the sports this summer. Swimming lessons, I was saying before, we don't do that anymore, particularly. But snacks, love snacks. and art projects. Okay, so we're all along the same lines. We want trips, we want outdoors, we want art projects, we want sports, and I think one or two people said a little bit of academics, because we still got to keep the wheels turning during the summer months. We must agree to that. So this evening, so basically the table of contents for this evening, you'll hear from some of our directors, some of our admin staff, as well as our fiscal staff. And I'm going to be giving you the introduction. My name is Sophia Francis, and I'm one of the executive directors here at Cortelyou Early Childhood Centers. And I'm going to give more of a brief history about our schooling camp. Then we're going to go into part 2, which is more program information, which myself and Ms. Johnson may give you a little bit of that information on our camp and the additional activities that we have planned for the summer. Summer camp trips that will be given to us by Anna Botello, and she is one of our family workers here at Cortelyou. She's going to tell you more about all the trips that they have planned for this summer. Mr. Nick and Mr. Francis will give you more information on the fees that are associated with our summer camp program. And then the directors, myself and Ms. Johnson, will circle back and will answer any questions, as well as we have some frequently asked questions that are usually asked that we'll get the question and answer period started with. So right away, just gonna introduce my staff to you. Part 1 with the welcome. So those are little babies, and we want to welcome you to, again, season 2024. Our executive directors here are Leonie Francis Bryan and Sophia Francis. We have educational directors on staff, Ms. Johnson and Ms. A. And we also have our office administrators. We have Ms. Nilda, Ms. Tiana, as well as Ms. Anna. And we have our fiscal team, which is Mr. Francis and Mr. Nicholas. So these are the people you would see throughout the summer. And when you call the phone or you work with our team, these are the people that you're speaking with. So key information that you need to take into consideration is that camp runs from July 1st all the way to August 23rd, 2024. So this is an 8-week summer camp program. 8 weeks. The first week of our summer camp program, we only operate for 3 days, July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then July 4th and 5th, we're closed in observance of Independence Day. Our operating hours this summer are from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So we are not here till 6 p.m. as usual, but we're only here till 5:30. So you would have to take note of that as well. Ages for this particular camp program is 4.5 years to 13 years. It is children who are going to kindergarten upwards of 8th grade. And they'll be spread out across 2 to 3 of our buildings over the summer months. The summer preschool program, which had a different application, and it's for our students who are already enrolled and a few who may have made the opportunity to join us, that is held only at our main location, which is at 1110 Cortelyou Road. But that's not a camp program. The camp will operate out of our annex building and academy building, and that's all based on our enrollment. So that's either K to 4 will be at our Marlboro location, or K to 8, depending on our numbers. But usually we have our older kids at Bedford location, which is our 5 to 8 grades. Applications can be filled out electronically online, or you can also get a hard copy printed out, fill it in, or you can come by the office and we can give you a copy as well to fill out. So we do still take paper applications, and you can always submit it. Mail it into our, not mail it in, sorry, but email it over to info@mycecc.com for processing. All forms are required, and carefully read through all of the application parts. Part A, B, C, D, and E. It covers everything that you would need to know. Registration includes their camp shirts, a drawstring book bag, as well as a water bottle. And then your camper will be registered for summer session 2024. So currently, I'm just throwing this out. Again, we want to be very interactive, and we want you to be honest. What is your child's favorite pastime? So we want you to be honest and drop it in the chat. And these are our little ones, K to 8. What is your child's favorite pastime? I don't see you typing. Okay, seems like only 4 children have pastimes. Okay, here they're coming. They're coming. So let me see what I'm seeing, because now it's about to go off my screen. We have dancing and swimming, dancing, TV and video games, anything outdoors, coloring and drawing, coloring, drawing, singing, dancing, imaginative play. I'm looking at the different age ranges because I know some of the kids. Painting, coloring, and swimming, playing on a tablet, drawing, painting, pretending to be a cat. She likes painting and gymnastics, dancing, coloring, singing, drawing, and tennis. So I do realize we have a cross section of parents, and that's coming from a lot of our 3 and 4 year olds, and I'm seeing from some of our older ones. We're seeing some of the interactive stuff as far as playing Roblox, being on the TV, also playing video games. I did see someone with the tablet. I see something new here. I see karate. So that's all great. What we want to do this summer is we want to ensure that our children are actively moving, engaged, and socializing and interacting with other people and their friends. Because what we're realizing, even as teachers and educators, we're seeing that children are becoming more engulfed in just themselves and behaving introvertly just because they're so used to being home alone. Maybe they're a single child, or maybe at home they just have lots of stuff. And what we want to ensure is that a summer at Cortelyou, when they're here, they're engaged, they're moving about, they're having fun, they're talking, they're learning. Everything is all about experiential learning. So one thing we want to let everybody know, especially as the kids get older, I don't see a lot of the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and the older kids' parents on at this junction, but we'll have another orientation as well. But Mr. Nick, I want you to hit them with the other slide. There is a technology-free zone. So what that means is, I know some families do take door-to-door bus service, so their child does come to school with the phone, but it would be checked in at the front door, and then you check it out on the way out. But we want these kids to disengage from the games, some of the technology. And we do have a STEM program. We do have a STEM teacher. We do have computers at school and at camp, and we are going to utilize them. But we want to make sure it's like when our STEM teacher uses the computer, we're training the robots to show in motion. And here's this code to do this activity, or I want it to move 2 or 3 feet. We want to make sure that we're using technology for them to enhance their learning. So all the other things that they can do at home, we're going to leave that at home. So we're just going to let you know. They're going to say, oh, Miss Francis said, or Miss Johnson said, I can't bring my Nintendo Switch. They can't bring their Nintendo Switch. There's going to be more than enough activities, coloring, excitement, and trips off-site and on-site for them to do. So we just don't want to get caught up with doing these individual activities or introvert type of games that they, may usually, that kids tend to do now. We want to make sure that kids are getting back to the basics, and we want to get outside. We want to roll around. We want to jump rope. We want to have fun. So we just want to make sure we let you know. And I'm glad that I saw all of the feedback that people want to be outside. People want to play games. They want to go on trips. That's what we're looking to do. And yes, we do have an end of camp carnival. So we just wanted to put that out there. So, but I did tell my staff, as much as it's a technology-free zone, after the time of 4:30, we will have some different games and activities that if they wanted to opt, we'll have like maybe 2 days a week. Because, just like with anything, we don't want them going through withdrawal this summer, but we're going to try our best to keep them actively engaged and moving about. So a little bit more about program information. So we want the summer camp experience to be balanced. We always say that CECC summer promises fun, to be fun and exciting. We want it to be a very fun and exciting camp experience. When I think back to my summer camp days, I loved camp. I couldn't wait for summer camp to happen just because summer camp was always fun. I went to day camp, I went to sleepaway camp, but anything camp, I was up for it because I knew that this was a time that I know in my past I learned how to sew. I learned how to do some cooking. I love doing ceramics and the kiln stuff. I loved Camp Olympics. Everything camp signed me up. So I definitely believe that summer camp is a part of your child's growth and development that's integral. Like they need to have some time to kind of fall back just a tad from like the everyday rigor of, put on my uniform, go to school, do, all of these different activities and these lessons. We still want to make sure that the wheels are turning in the summer, but we want to have fun, uninterrupted hours of fun and learn new activities. I can only imagine and remember all the different skirts that I sewed in the summer. And even when I picked up my son from camp, I think it was last summer or the summer before, he came home with like 4 pillows that he made. He was just so excited. I think it was 3 pillows and a blanket. And he was just so proud. So we want to make sure we're making these memories for them and letting them know, for example, sometimes like if a button falls off of a shirt or something or a pair of pants, my older daughter, she would say, only got the one daughter, but my older kid, she'd be like, oh, Mom, these pants are not good anymore. And I'm like, what about a needle and thread? Oh, grandma's not available right now. So I'm like, it's not only grandmas who know how to sew. Let's do this. So it's important sometimes just to go back to basic and show them how to sew and do these basic things because it's still a great skill set to have. So choose the program. We're asking parents to choose the program that suits your child's needs, whether it's physical, academic, or both. So high quality education, flexible scheduling, and affordability. So what we did this summer is we gave you the option of opting into 1 or 2 programs. So on our next slide, it briefly tells you about, we have a Get Physical package, which would be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It offers the outdoor adventures, the sports exploration, the friendly competitions, and much more. It includes, but it's not limited to, like the local park visits, the yard games, and the scavenger hunts. But we call it Get Physical because, people are doing different things and you may want different parts of camp. So, and while we wanted to make it flexible like that, we wanted to ensure that if some parents did work remotely and they're saying, I came up with a plan and I want to take them to the museums on these days, or I want to do this, you can choose a Monday, Wednesday, Friday package or a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday package, which would be with the Stay Sharp. So if you're doing all of these different activities with them, maybe you just want to benefit from Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays when we enhance on the academic knowledge in the various subjects. We have the ELA, that's English Language Arts. We have the math, and we also have the STEAM with the science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Like I said, we have, as many of you know, we are in elementary school as well. We have a STEM teacher. We have our teachers who will still be here working with us in the summer. And they do work, our main teachers work in a part-time capacity in the summer. So I just want to make sure that they're here to assist and to help with executing the ELA, math, and the STEAM lessons. So we have different weeks, have different themes. So we have a week of sustainability where we're talking about composting, paper making, and potting vegetables and flowers. We're looking at urban farms, urban gardens. We have a week that we call Mad Scientists, and we're growing candy crystals, and we're doing some different science experiments where we have like foam eruptions and volcano-like activities going on because kids love to see things go boom. And we have deep sea divers, ocean zones. We're talking about making an ocean zone models because, as you know, there's different zones to the ocean. Saltwater floating experiment. And I think that's the week that we also end up taking our children to the aquarium. So we try to make sure that the trips that we're going to, if they're on-site or off-site, that they sometimes go aligned with the theme, but if not, on Wednesdays in either package. So that's when both groups meet up. But for the most part, a lot of people are already signing up and it's Monday through Friday that they're coming. But Wednesdays are the days that they go out on trips. They go out or the trip comes in, but we want to make sure we have those trip activities for them. So again, why not both programs? So if you don't need a part-time program, you would do both, and that would be Monday to Friday. It includes everything in the Get Physical program, sorry, and the Stay Sharp program. And all packages include daily outdoor play, choice of free time, because we don't want to over-program them, but we have a lot of programming activities for them. And our on or off-site local trip are on Wednesdays. And out-of-town amusement park trips also come with an additional fee, and that's when we only have 2 this summer in total, and one is to Dorney Park and one is to Sesame Place. But Miss Anna will tell you a little bit more about that. Yes, and I guess you'll tell me about it now. So.
All right. Hello, my name is Miss Anna, for anybody that I haven't met. I think at the very least, I've spoken to a lot of you on the phone. So I'm going to tell you about some of the trips we have planned for this year. So these are some of the trips that some photos of trips we've done in the past. This year, we're going to Urban Air, which I don't think we've done before. That's going to be a really exciting one. Alley Pond is the environmental center. They come on site and they bring us, 4 or 5 animals that they get to learn about and the kids get to experience. Last year we did this rolling video game truck. That's another one that comes on site, and the older kids really like that one for obvious reasons. Sometimes we do clowns and things like that. But like Sophia said, every Wednesday we're going to have a trip, either on site or off site. It's a good way to break up the week, especially since most people are doing the full package. It's a good way to break up the 2 academic days. I tried to make the trips go along with the weekly themes. So she was giving you some examples of themes that we're doing. We have like the deep sea divers, and that week we're going to go to the New York Aquarium. We have an Animal Planet week, and that's when Alley Pond is going to come with us. I tried to make them go along with either the physical theme of the week or the Stay Sharp theme of the week. So Urban Air, they're going to do some obstacle courses for that week in the physical package. And the video game truck is going to come for our 4th of July barbecue. So that'll be the first week. But yeah, so they'll have a trip every week, and yeah, they'll go on buses, or yeah, I think they're just going to go on buses unless it's somebody that comes to us. But I'll tell you a little bit more about the out-of-town amusement park trips as well. This year we're just doing the 2, one in July and one in August. So July 17th, we are going to Dorney Park. It's Pennsylvania, right? Yep. Yeah. So that'll be exciting. Those come with an additional fee. The other weekly trips, the Urban Air, the aquarium, that's all included in your summer camp fees. These ones are additional since they're out of town and we book charter buses to go. But they come at a $100 ticket fee, and that includes admission to the park as well as transportation. These are all-day trips, and the kids really seem to like them. Space is limited on the buses. We bought enough tickets for as many seats we have on the bus, so they are first come, first serve, and you'll want to get them early because they sell out. Last year they sold out pretty quickly from the beginning of camp. And only payment will reserve tickets for these trips because, there's a demand for them. So you want to commit. Let's see. Yes, so camp will operate as normal on these days for those that aren't able to come with us. So there will be something in place going on at home in lieu of these trips for the campers that stay home. And then, so yeah, like I said, they're all-day trips. Usually the bus will be coming at 7 a.m. So it's an early morning. You'll want to be there by like 6:40-ish to make sure everything goes smoothly. And then we typically leave the parks around 5:30, 5:45, and we estimate you'll get back home to the annex building, 386 Marlborough Road, which is also where you will get on the bus. So we assume that you'll get back before 7:30-ish. Yeah. So the other thing is we give our campers that are 10 and older the opportunity to go on these trips unaccompanied. We require that they have good behavior. So there's like a permission slip, and it's got a spot for the parent to sign off and a spot for their camp counselor to sign off, that they are eligible and well-behaved and can be trusted to go on these trips alone. Any campers that are 9 years old and younger have to come with a parent. So if you want your child to come and they're 9 and younger, you'll want to buy 2 tickets, one for them and one for you or grandma or auntie or somebody to come with them and supervise, especially since they're water parks too. We just want to have plenty of eyes. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that's all for the amusement park trips. Like they said, if you have any other questions regarding the trips and stuff, you can drop them in the, do you allow parent chaperones for off-site trips? Just like the regular Wednesday ones? Not necessarily, but we can get to that in the question and answer period. Yeah, any other questions, you can just drop them in the chat. And all the information that I just went over is in their summer camp application too. So if you have more questions, we'll talk about it at the end. Bye.
All right, thank you, Miss Anna and Miss Sophia, for all that information. But now it's the money part that a lot of people are interested in. So I will be going over that. I'm Mr. Nicholas. Mr. Francis is in the background. We are the accounts team. So if you're paying us, you're paying me or him. So we're going to be going over a lot of that information. So the key thing that we want to talk about as it relates to the applications, there's a difference between early bird registration and quote unquote late, or maybe we could call it regular registration. We do it each year. It's usually around April. We provide discounted rates if families not only sign up. Now, keep this in mind. It's not just submitting the application and paying a registration fee if applicable. The early bird registration rates apply if you pay all of your fees, with the exception of the trips that we just spoke about. All of the weekly fees would have to be paid by, in this year, it would be April 15th, tax day. So the fees would need to be paid by that date. Any fees that are weekly fees, I should say, that remain outstanding past that date will get automatically reverted to the normal or regular or late registration rates. So everything you see on the left side, the left column, those are the early registration rates. The $100 registration fee is applicable for outside families that are not attending our current nursery, 3K, or kindergarten to 5th grade. More specifically for this meeting, it's usually kindergarten to 5th grade. Our K to 5 students would not have to pay the registration fee if the family registers and submits an application by April 15th. Otherwise, there is a $100 registration fee for other outside families that are attending. The full package, 5 days per week, is $400. And the 3-day-a-week program, whether that's Get Physical or Stay Sharp, that's $250 per week. The first week we are closed for 2 days, the July 4th and July 5th. So everybody would have a 3-day program if they sign up for week 1 during this year's camp. And as we mentioned before, the amusement park trip tickets, they're $100. They stay the same regardless when you register. Again, they are sold on a first come, first served basis. Comparably, you're looking at the late registrations. The registration is about $50 higher. The 5-day-a-week program fee is $50 higher at $450 per week. And the same thing for the 3-day-a-week program. It goes from $250 to $300. So like I mentioned about the registration fee, there's that note at the bottom, and the same thing about week 1. Other information, I already explained this part, but it's best to say it again as many times as I possibly can. The fees will need to be paid by April 15th in order to retain those early registration rates. It's basically an early payment discount. You can look at it in that way as well. We mentioned before, preschool is available. The fees are slightly similar. They're a little different, but you can always contact us at info@mycecc or give us a call for more information on that. Transportation. Okay. Some of our families here may be attending from our 1199 program that we do have, in which transportation would be provided through them. For other families that may be interested, this is for the K-8 program for summer camp, not the younger ones. We will have door-to-door transportation services available throughout the summer based on your address. Most zip codes we're usually able to work with, but we want to make sure we confirm that before we do anything. But there's a difference between either one way, which is either just pick up or just drop off, and then two-way pickup. So this does come with an additional fee. The fees are listed here. It's one way would be $60 a week, and two-way would be $120. If anything changes with that, we'll let you know. But these are the current rates for this summer camp program. How can you make payments? So, like anything else, well, a lot of people probably don't really use cash that much anymore, but we do accept that. We do accept checks, money orders, but like the way of the future, a lot of people are making electronic payments. So we accept debit and credit card payments, but keep in mind, regardless how you make these payments, whether it's online through the website that you'll see when you get an invoice, over the phone or in person, any debit or credit card payment transactions are charged a 3% fee. Want to get away from that? Use a bank account. We do accept ACH payments with checking or savings accounts. There's no fee, no fee. And I think it takes about 1 to 2 banking days to process, but that's the way to get around that, especially if you use a debit card or a check. It's a lot easier to go through that way. You can always email the accounts department if you have any other questions, which you'll be getting an invoice if you do sign up for the summer camp program. I mentioned 1199. That's another program that we do have some families joining from, as well as MTA. We don't really have that much going through MTA TWU as much as we did in the past, but that is still there. And then we also accept vouchers through ACS. And if some families, parents or guardians, they work for the city, they may go through HRA, but we do also accept vouchers throughout the summer. And one last little final thing that I wanted to mention, as it relates to the finance part, we do have a little special offer. I don't know if many of you want to, I would think a lot of you would want to take advantage of this, but if you want to be eligible for a referral credit of up to, drum noise, please, 600, wow, that's a lot, $600, just refer a family to our summer camp program. Now, you see that asterisk, I'm going to get to that. There's eligibility criteria and policies as it relates to this referral credit. One of the most important things is that there is a referral form that we do have for families to fill out. This form needs to be filled out as soon as you make the referral. That is very key. We want to make sure that that form is completed. We have an electronic record of it, just so that we can always refer to it again in the future if we need to. But that referral form needs to be completed. The accounts department has it. We can provide it to you. Second part, another key thing, the referred family has never attended our camp program in the past. I know it's going to be a little tough because we have a lot of families in this general area, but what we want to make sure is that we're expanding the size of our camp. We want to expand it to other families that maybe have never heard of us and they wanted to experience what our camp is like. So we want to make sure that they are brand new. They haven't come before in the past. They haven't had another child because they already know about us. We want to expand. The credit itself, the 600, that is based on the number of weeks that they sign up for. So if they sign up for all 8 weeks, you would get that 600. If they sign up for half, which is 4 weeks or about a month, you would get half of that. So it's kind of prorated in that sense, but it's based on that. The credit will be applied to your summer camp tuition balance once the referred family begins camp. So keep in mind, that's not going to happen until July. So we want to make sure that we are able to make ourselves known to as many families in the area as we possibly can. So that's one of our methods that we're using to try to do that. And as I mentioned before, the accounts department, we have an email address. accounts at myccc.com. It's listed here. This meeting is being recorded. We will also share a copy of the presentation in case you need to refer to this information. But I will pass it back to our directors for our FAQ and Q&A session.
Thank you, Nicholas. Very informative. And a couple of things that I was thinking about with Anna's presentation as well as Nicholas. So with Anna, she was letting you know that parents must accompany their younger ones on these trips. And even as she was giving this spiel, she's like, you know, if they're well behaved, they can go with our counselors. And if they're not of that age, they can go with, you know, other people, maybe grandma. I want to tell you, grandmas are fun. But sometimes when you send a 12-year-old with the grandma, they're just like, grandma doesn't want to go on the roller coaster with me. Grandma doesn't want it. So bear all of these things in mind. Sometimes the parents are like, I don't even know. And even when mom comes, they're like, I don't even know why I came. He or she's not playing with me. I'm like, Mom, you got to put on your bathing suit. You got to jump in the water. You got to do, you know, the dives, the slides. So don't feel pressured if you have an older kid and they want to go unaccompanied and, you know, they have the behavior to do so. We have all of our staff here, you know, our team here, Miss Brittany, Miss Aaliyah, all of the staff, you know, Mr. Jose, different people who are part of our team that they can go out and they will be on 10 all day with them running up and down. Like people are always dying to go on the trips. Also, something that Mr. Nick said, which I thought was really funny about the referral credit. I was learning about that for the first time as well. But he was like, you know, they have to be brand new. They never, ever came to Cortelyou. So I was like laughing. I'm like, what happened if they bring back a parent from 2 seasons ago? So no, they want a fresh new phase to the Cortelyou family. We're always expanding. So I think that's a really good deal. So I'm hoping that people will take advantage of that as well. How do we get the referral credit? If you paid by 4/15, then you would get a reimbursement. So once summer camp start and the family's here and they paid for their camp stay and they're going to be here, then you would get a reimbursement. So then we would cut you a check. So now you're making money. So think about it. If you go out and refer a lot of people, you could just keep getting back, $600 worth of credits. Oh, here's a question for the accounts department. What happens if there's multiple people that can we work backwards? Can they start paying off like lots of credits? Say it's more than one family. So that's a $600 credit they got for 8 weeks. What happened if they got 4 families? Is that 4 times 6? Is that $2,400, Nick?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. You know what? I'm going to go look for 4 new friends. So that's good to know. So yes, we would then owe you money and we can pay it back out to you, or you can just join us for elementary school and start paying down that tuition as well. But it's 8 weeks for one family, and then that would be the full $600, and 4 families, it would be even more. So Ms. Johnson, I know you wanted to jump in, so we are going to go over some frequently asked questions that families tend to ask, and then if you have some additional questions, we'll answer those as well. Ms. Johnson.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I was there sitting, and here I am looking through, contemplating, but just thinking that summer is upon us. Why say this? Because the days are going by so quickly. However, let me just jump into our questions. When and where do we have to submit our applications? We're hoping that you actually did if you're on this platform. But as Mr. Nick stated before, and Ms. Sophia, you can do it in person at any of our 3 locations, or you can do an email it to us. We will get those. This morning as well at the Bedford location, we are getting applications. So we're asking you to drop it off in person, or you can email it to us, and we certainly will have your applications. How many students will be in each classroom or group? So technically, again, we go based on the DOHMH, which is Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. So we have 15 to 20 students per group. And again, it's based on age range, because Department of Health has stipulations. If your child is older, then we can have larger groups. Along with these groups, we want to let you know that we do have our counselors are going to be with them. And we also, I know this is going to be a question or parents are going to be asking, we will be having SYEPs. SYEPs are not allowed to be in a group by themselves, but they will be with our well-abled counselors. Will different groups of students intermingle? Of course, they will. Especially if you are in the upper grades or if you are in specific buildings, let's say the Marlboro buildings, you're going to be seeing students within your age range. And if you're in the Bedford building, of course, you will be able to see other students. So you will be able to intermingle with other campers. And again, based on whichever buildings that you are going to be in. What if my child is attending a charter school and goes back to school early? Again, we do normally have this, but parents, you are provided a weekly enrollment flexibility. So we want you to know that we do cater because over the years we have seen charter schools, they start returning to school, I believe in August, like maybe some schools the second week in August. So provisions are made for those students in those programs. And the sick policy. So if any of your child's illnesses will be impacting their ability to participate, if your child has fever or vomiting, we definitely will be calling you for that. We want to make sure that all our students, the main focus we want to make sure that we say to you is that we want to make sure all our students are healthy. So health and safety becomes important for us. So we are going to ask you to, we call you in and we'll ask you to come and pick up your child. And when your child returns, we want to make sure that your child returns fever free, at least for 24 hours. And there's no sign of vomiting because we notice now that this is something that's going around. So again, we want to make sure we want to protect the health and safety of everyone. That includes our students as well as our counselors. Because when children come sick, counselors get sick, all the students get sick as well. So we want to make sure that we are keeping our environment healthy and safe as well. So we ask you, if you notice your child has any fever or any of the vomiting symptoms, we ask you to keep your child home for at least 24 hours. And then once your child is fever free or there's no vomiting, your child can return to camp and have fun. So where will preschool be located and will the green t-shirts be required? So since our 1110 Cortelyou Road will house our younger students who are in the 3K or 4 years old going to pre-K and lower, the green shirts are going to be optional for them. And as Miss Francis stated, they do have a program. We have an exciting program plan for them, but we just want to inform you that the green t-shirt will be optional since they're not going on regular trips. They're not going to be, well, they will go outdoors. They will have fun, but they're not going to be going on the various trips like the kindergarten through 8th grade students. And this is something that comes to us every year. Parents want to know, they're excited, they want to come to our camp, they're asking lots of questions, but they're saying, I can't afford it, I cannot. Is financial aid available for such families? No. We are unable at this time to provide any sort of financial aid to those families. However, we do accept ACS, HRA vouchers, and of course, our 1199 members. And there is a discount, sibling discount are certainly available for students who have another sibling. We will let you know. So the dates to pick up your materials, your water bottle, your t-shirt, your bags, that will be mid-May. And I know we normally send you an email to let you know that these materials are available and you can come and pick it up. If your child is at the Bedford location, we try to bring it over to the area. If your child is at any one of our locations, let's take, for instance, at the Marlboro location, we'll make sure that it's there, or if it's the Bedford location, I believe we'll have it over here. Mr. Nick, I just want to maybe confirm, is that right? Are we going to do it that way?
Yeah, what we were
Just to make
trying to initially aim for.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, great.
So yeah, so what I was mentioning, what we're trying to aim for, there will be another in-person orientation that's happening in early May. I think it's around May 1st or May 3rd or something around there. We're going to try to have the materials ready by that date, but we're going to confirm first if we have all the materials that we need. If not, we'll confirm with parents when it is and where it is that they would pick up their materials. But we're aiming for that first in-person meeting.
Great. Thank you so much. Does the $100 amusement park trip ticket include adults and children? So children older than 2 years old would need their own ticket to attend amusement. And of course, parents, you will have to pay. So it's like $100 per person. So once your child or you are occupying a seat, that seat is considered, you will pay for that seat in the bus. And of course, you're paying for when you go onto the trip. So it's going to be $100 per person. And over to Nick, we want to say thank you so much for joining us. Outside is rainy, there's showers happening, but in our meeting at this time, we know that you're excited to start our camp. We are excited as well. Yes, some of us are tired, but when we hear camp, we are excited. So without further ado, I'm going to send over right now to Miss Francis and Mr. Nick.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Johnson. I'm just going to be scrolling through the chat, through some of the previous questions to see if there's anything that we need to further clarify. I know one was specifically asking for I think the Stay Sharp package. So the key thing about the April 15th date, you don't have to pay all your fees by the 15th. You do have to pay your fees by the 15th if you want to keep the early bird rates. You could pay after the 15th all the way up to the end of June. But then the late or regular rates would kick in rather than the early rates. So just keep that in mind. The registration would also be due at the time you do submit the application. So just bear that in mind. And I know another family was inquiring about the weeks. We always know that the summer and vacations, you never really know what's going to be coming up. So the best thing that I would suggest, it's a lot easier for us to take away rather than add additional. The reason why I say that is because let's say your family signs up for 6 weeks and then late June, you figure out, oh, I'm not going on that vacation at the end of August. I'm going to need those weeks. We're not necessarily going to be able to guarantee that there's still going to be space at that time. So it's going to be harder for us to add additional weeks to yours because of capacity reasons. It's easier for us to take away. I'll say that it's not guaranteed that there will be a refund. A lot of that is determined on a case-by-case basis by the accounts department. So the best suggestion that I have, use your best judgment and bear that in mind. It's easier to take away rather than add additional. Someone was asking about HRA. Oh, yeah.
I think a parent is asking, she's not sure. She wants to know for kindergarten if the students who are in kindergarten for the weekly trip, if they'll need a parent. And the answer is no. Why? Because we have enough staff to go with our students. So when you have the out of town trips, that trip will require a parent if your child is in kindergarten.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. I know another parent was asking about HRA. A lot of that, the school, our camp, our school does not process anything as it relates to ACS or HRA paperwork. Parents would need to go directly to ACS, their office, or to their HRA center and inquire about the process about getting the forms. We may need to fill out certain parts of it, but we won't provide those forms to you. It has to come from their office. So as mentioned by Ms. Sophia, you can also call 311 to ask about any assistance related to that.
I see another parent is asking about older students in the trip. We normally take lunch for our students. However, most of our students, especially older ones, you are in a big facility and they want to eat what they normally see on those trips. So that's the reason why we would say to parents, if you want, you can give them money. It's up to you, but we do, of course, provide lunch for our students. So just wanted to let you know, we provide lunch for them on those big trips. Again, most of them bring money because sometimes we take the lunch and they don't want to eat that lunch. They want to eat what they see in the park.
And because my son also goes to camp here during the summer months, and I never send him out with money because I don't think it's necessary, and because I work at the camp and I know what's available. But a lot of other parents do, they have money and they want to have $20 and $30. And they're like, but the other kids were buying hot dogs or they were doing this. We're trying our best to keep them contained and together when we're moving about the different places. And mind you, there's only about 2 to 4 trips where they may leave and go off campus. It's not like first time before where we're out twice a week. Now we do bring a lot of trips on site, but because some kids do have more money, I'm a little bit more old school of a parent. My kid's, he's 11, he doesn't have a phone, he doesn't have money. Like, I try to regulate when he's going to do different things just to be, it's a different time we're living in. But some kids do have a lot of money. And when they go out, they're shopping and doing all this stuff. And then there is a little bit of envy. But I told them, I know that the kitchen cooked that sandwich and I know it's a great sandwich and I know it's a good beef or chicken patty, so you'll be fine. But sometimes other people have a lot more money and they want to buy, $10 sodas and $10 hot dogs out there in New York City. Okay, are there any other general questions? We were trying to answer some as we were going through. I think we answered most of them. But most importantly, I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, jumping on this call, getting a lot of the information. We know you have a lot of options. There's a lot of different options. Some of us, you got Vacation Bible School, you have summarizing. There's tons of different things that are being offered out there. So we do appreciate you taking the time to hear about what Cortelyou can offer you, what a summer at our camp will feel like. And if you have any more specific questions, feel free to give us a call at our main number, 718-282-6077. We can do tours for some of you who are not Cortelyou families and you're coming into the fold and you want to just take a look at some of our facilities. We're more than welcome to do so. So thank you again for joining us tonight, and we will see you hopefully this summer.
Yeah. And one last thing I also wanted to add, I know Ms. Johnson was talking about the question about financial aid. Something that we didn't actually add about that was the referral credit. That is a huge part of financial aid that is brand new to this program. So bear that in mind. We want to make sure our families are taking advantage of that.
Nick, I just wanted one last thing to the parent with the costs on the trip. Just to let you know, we let them know that we have lunch. We take those bags off the buses as well. So they all are aware that we have lunch. But again, sometimes children may not want it. As Miss Sophia said, they may see their friends and they may make a decision that I don't want to eat it. So once again, we want to let parents know the food is provided at all times. The children are aware. We let them know their bags. We have lunch as well as when they're coming back, snack is also provided.
Yeah, but that's it.
All right. All right. If there are no other questions, I can allow everybody to unmute themselves if they want to say goodnight on this rainy day. Sleep tight. No bed bugs. Hopefully not.
All right. Good night, everyone. We will see you soon.
Right,
And
take care.
Feel free to
night.
call us if you have any specific questions or if you want to come in and tour the respective building that your child will probably most likely be attending this summer.